You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Vellante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
Yeah, I just wanted to just chat about art. I want to chat about your teaching. Did an exhibit with your dad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of started. So last time we talked in the podcast stuff, I think I was just mentioning it, or maybe the first show had happened. But we had this opportunity came up to travel the state with a touring exhibit with me and my dad. So my dad's also an artist, like Paul Noot. I grew up in his after-school art classes. Like he teaches high school and also does like different stuff like that. So it's like, okay, it was really cool. Like, okay, we show together. He made paintings, I made paintings. Also, my work went around the state, and they liked it, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, no, that was so exciting to see and hear about. And everybody, we're talking with Dakota Noot, and Dakota and I had never met in person, but I'm a big fan of.
Someday.
Yeah, someday I'll make it down that way, down to LA. But we did an episode back. I checked the number. I just told you a little bit ago, 92. The show's on 200, episode 212, and I gotta tell you, like, I just adore your art and like the wildness. It's so fantastic. But just seeing you grow and like your art path grow and exhibits in teaching. I wanted to ask you about your role as an instructor, and because I'm really curious. I represent teachers during my day job, and with the show, I'm so fascinated by like what happens with teaching. The stories early on that I talk to artists are like, Mr. Brown said, I can't even draw a straight line with the ruler, and I was never an artist. Or they're like, Miss Peach thought I was the greatest artist in the world, so I was. But what's it like? What's it like teaching art? What's it like teaching? And what type of students you get, and what's going on in art school?
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess actually it was kind of funny. I was thinking back the other day about this. I've been teaching like adjuncts to community colleges part time, like different ones, kind of stringing that together for 5 years now. So like currently I do a school up in Ventura, like or Oxnard, and then I do a school in Orange County. I guess if you're from Southern California, like maybe you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's really far. It kind of is. So I drive different days of the week. I feel like my schedule, the thing I think about a lot with teaching is like, oh, okay, it is a drive, but it is rewarding too. Community college, you get every age group, like kids straight from high school. People are older too. It's like you could have someone who's like, okay, I'm a grandparent who had like never got a degree, but I'm coming back and want to like take an art class. So it's kind of fun just to get that. Like you get such variety, and also it's all art related too.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you're teaching like the beginning stuff, it gets like a little repetitive because it's like, okay, I'm teaching the same beginning drawing class. It's like, okay, still life, still life, still life. There isn't much variety, but like sometimes like kids will surprise you and like, oh, they're naturally like they have skill or they're interested or they just go quicker. That's the exciting part.
Lead me into day one. I'm going into your class. I'm getting ready in my seat. Like what happens? I mean, are you in the cutout outfits? I mean, maybe that's the question I always wanted to ask.
They're like, wow, they all dropped the first day, or they signed up more kids. I don't know.
Or like enrollment, and they bring you on and give you another section.
But no,
he came into class, and hey. It's one of those things that if you did, and everybody we're talking about is Dakota has, and he'll tell you more about it, but the cutout pieces and designs on the front. But so what we're bumping into, Dakota and I, is that we think either this is a hit or miss one. Either you're going to be fast tracked towards job stability and what every professor should have towards tenure, or they're going to tell you the students could identify whether you're dangerous or not. And we have parents to worry about, that type of thing.
I have to agree with my professor, though, so y'all can fact check that one.
All right. No, totally. So
yeah,
is what's that?
My first day is easy. Like the kids come in, I always throw them into group projects too. And even as an artist, I've always kind of wondered, like when I first started teaching, I was always kind of scared, like, do I show them my art at all?
Yeah.
Usually I kind of wait more in towards the end, like, okay, or midway through. Or it's like sometimes if I am working on a project and bringing it in, I'm like, okay, this is how you're going to see my art. Like you're working on yours, I'm working on mine, you know? But
Yeah.
first day's chill. It's like, hey, get to know you. Like, let's do something collaborative. I love doing like group drawings where they make creatures together before they do something more formal. I never stress kids out.
I wouldn't expect that. You know,
I could. You're like, I'm a mean teacher. Ah,
if they're stressed, it's part of their own growth process, Dakota.
yeah.
That's where the stress is coming in. I got to tell you, I mean, I just wanted to a little bit of something that I did in the past, but I know the you know, the hustle. You're grabbing your sections, you're trying to do your art, but you know, you and I know with some of the demands within that, it's not a cultivating art atmosphere, you know, for
Yeah.
you that, you know, and so there's a lot of, you know, for a lot of work, and you know, the pay isn't like being, you know, on tenure. One of the strange things is when I had the opportunity, it was one of the greatest opportunities of my life to teach philosophy at the University of Rhode Island, and I taught 2 sections as an adjunct. At that same time, I was doing union work, and what was amazing to me and just simple and just a weird experience of mine is that my union work subsidized the university. Like I was doing both at the same time, but my benefits were derived from the union. My mileage was derived from like everything was derived from the union, and my ability to teach at the University of Rhode Island was basically subsidized by being a union member and by being labor, by having that other job. And it's just the strangest thing when you think about it, you know, job security, proper pay for you. I mean, I'd pay $1 million to take a class with you, Dakota, and you know,
I'll take it.
when the show gets there, we get to hit 1 million.
Yeah.
When the show gets to 1 million downloads, I'll talk about the fee for the class. What's been going on with your art? You notice changes or things you're tweaking, or less or more time to do it? What's going on with your art?
I mean, it's kind of been crazy. The past year has been like more of an adjustment in general for me because I benefited most in the pandemic in 2020, even into 2021 when things were all online. So I wasn't driving in, so I could wake up, make art, then tune into the Zoom class. So I kind of really used that where it's like, okay, making stuff every week. I was super productive, but it kind of helped me too in the long run. Like, even though now, like, okay, I'm back in person, maybe it's like, okay, I can make something here or there every week or every other week. I'm not as rushed for it. So it's kind of crazy. Like I had a residency that this summer, right in the first week of June, right after teaching, I had to make an installation and perform with it. But I'm like, since I had no time with teaching, so I'm like, I'm bringing stuff to class. And students are seeing me like, why are you drawing all these hot dogs? I'm like, sure.
You'll find out. Work hard, get a good grade. You'll find out.
It's my final project.
I love it. I love it. Exhibits. There was one when you're done with your dad. You had the opportunity to have specific shows where you're able to lean into something that you're like, I want everybody to see this piece of it, or is it, you know, more general with your art, your shows recently?
Yeah, I mean, usually I've been kind of more hit up for something too. Like the residency is like they asked me for an idea, so I spoofed a cooking show. So I've been kind of thinking like, okay, how do I change my work a bit? Like, oh, I performed it, and they also recorded it too. I have to upload it. I have the raw file.
I am so excited. You know, the cooking shows on Netflix, and I have people
Don't follow my
me.
recipes.
But that wasn't where I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see.
It'll work out.
That's super, and it's great to see. It's great to see you have that video, and I
keep doing video too. Like I get more focused. Like, okay, since I've been already done like certain things, like I've made my installations, like how do I change it? So like video or performing with it's kind of where I'm focused on now.
Do you get going on TikTok? Are you active on TikTok?
Yeah, I try TikTok. I mean,
Do you like it? Do you like it? I don't want to. I as soon as yeah, I like. I end up seeing a lot of TikTok stuff if it just kind of floats over from Instagram. I don't have any like problems with it. Just like sometimes the mechanisms of things I haven't.
I think they all kind of go in waves of like the engagement too in the audience, like, or also what takes off on it. I'm really curious if Threads is gonna like pop off.
I like Threads. I like I like Threads because it seems simple, and there's this idea in my head of there's something about Twitter for me as a thinker that I always like. Not everybody's a thinker on Twitter. That's not my point. But you see a deep literary community's words, like there can be a focus on words and sharing of authors, and you see a lot of people on there for that. So like I think like the word or text, and so I'm hoping but it's like another thing to check on there. We put our stuff out there as artists and be like, Threads, am I cool on Threads? Who's cool on Threads? Who's taking over? Who's taking over Threads? I don't even know. Dakota, a lot of queer art. We're seeing in the world. We're seeing a reaction like against this. I'm sitting here and I'm in Albany, Oregon, and like I get tweaked with all this kind of messed up stuff that people are up to. There's a great performing space down in Eugene, drag show, and there's counter protest and things like that. Like what's going on with like the public and the reaction against like inclusion? For me, I understand the world, but I sit back and I'm like, this is fucking glorious. Where there's the color and more voices, that's me, and I'm not naive. That's the way I feel it. Do you feel good about things? Do you feel good about things now?
I feel optimistic. I mean, I don't know, in general, even though like the political climate right now, I teach summer school, like a summer program for high school kids. It's kind of crazy just like how open-minded they are in general and like positive. I mean, they're what makes me hopeful, like their generation coming up and aging up into the system, like being allowed to vote. I'm like, okay, keep this coming. We'll get the student loan relief through that.
little bit of more time. We just need.
But like that's exciting. I mean, it was crazy. You'd think with like me being in North Dakota, like that would have been like, okay, the crazy reactions like against my work would have came from them, especially like as I was touring with my dad's show, but it wasn't. It was from like a random project I did recently, like for June in Glendale, like here in LA. We're like, oh, there was this backlash against it. How dare you show it? I'm like, I made work that was safe for the kids. Wild things are.
I was wondering that too, and I forgot for some reason. I was thinking, of course, where you come from, and just like I'm in the K-12 system, so I represent teachers. And these horseshit. I don't give a fuck on these horseshit attacks against people who are trying to teach or give books to kids and have them learn something.
Harry Potter.
It's like but I feel, for me, I look at it for me, and like in doing the show, for me, my intelligence is enlightened by more and by what there is. So that's my makeup. So I struggle. And I also know I know the jackass, horrible politics, and so for me, at least for me, with the way I approach the world, there's the fight, and if the world sees less of your art, it's complete horseshit and bullshit, So, anyways, not to pontificate, Dakota.
But that's also wild. By posting about like me, like single me out, it gave it more attention than just like being quiet. Like, oh, that was cute. It's a little counterintuitive.
I'm gonna make the art. Well, and you're an artist. You're gonna make the art you're gonna make, and people are gonna do whatever they're gonna do out there. And
react. But that's cool. Like, I think also no matter where you're at too, it's like teachers are needed. If anything, their reaction against like teachers and what's happening in schools, like just shows like the power of like education. Even though like we're underpaid and we're working and all the stuff we deal with, like we do have like a positive effect on these kids. Like that scares them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then and there's loss of a way of life. I mean, I feel, I turn 51 next month. There are ways of life that I've lived in societally that are fucking dying. It's dying.
And that's okay.
Yeah, no, and it is fine, and it's just it's old thinking. It's from a different era, and it revives itself. That's why we see the fascism, right? It reinvents and revives itself. But there's a lot of stuff, and what I'm talking about, Dakota, is something that you said about younger. There's no panacea of a young swarm that makes everything okay. We're all polluted. We're all polluted in the system. But
they'll have their own problems.
They will. But what I will say is that there are things that I know in my generation that culturally were just still accepted, that were still around. And I talk to a lot of young people, and and I'm not saying it's perfect, but there is certain bullshit culturally that I grew up that they will have no part of. And even sometimes entering the job and workforce, things that they won't put up with. And I go back and I think if there were things any of us going back did not put up with, it would have probably helped a lot. Just didn't put up with and said, this is wrong. So,
but things are getting better then too, like from generation to generation, That's why I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful. Dakota, I'm able to see on your Instagram not only but your wonderful art, but I know you are a film lover.
Yeah,
and
you got me
I will tell you, I watch a lot of movies. But even the ones you post a reference to, I use as a reference point to be like, I got to check this out. And I go into some deep dives of movies that, when you get the look from others where they're like, okay, loving the B movies. Just did a recent episode about Swamp Thing where we covered Swamp Thing comic and movies. But let me tell you, Dakota, I was a bit too excited to talk about Swamp Thing, the movie, and the return of the Swamp Thing. Really into it, just love it. But I should be. Thank you. I know this is maybe a goofy question, but you have great movie recommendations. Like, what's some wild ass wonderful movie we need to see? I mean, like wild, like could be classic. What do we need to see? A couple.
Okay. I watch a lot of Italian stuff too. If you want to
remember that, yes,
crazy like gothic movie, like In the Folds of the Flesh could be kind of fun. It's like a soap opera.
That sounds good.
There's beheadings, there's like random like crazy stuff thrown in. I was like, let's just keep it vague. Yeah, there's wild stuff. Yeah, I also love Japanese movies too. Those are always classics. I've been really into like Hisayasu Sato movies recently, where they're kind of like violent, kind of erotic, kind of strange. They're all 90s, kind of weird. So It's like, if you like Muscle's good. I'm like, those are all fun.
Wonderful. What was the Japanese director's name you mentioned?
Oh, yeah. Hisayasu Sato. I don't even know if I said that right, but yeah, his work is great. I mean, it's definitely button pushing.
Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes. Yeah, I've done a lot of. I enjoy a lot of Japanese cinema. More classic, maybe not as much modern.
That's okay. I mean, like Kuroneko the Black Cat. I'm trying to think. Kadan is really great.
Some American wild movies. I went into deep, maybe dark. You could decide that on your own.
That's
Garbage Pail Kids, the movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is it good?
Oh, Dakota, I'm glad I'm able to share something with you and return the gifts you've given to me.
Yeah.
I'll try this. So I don't really remember, and believe me, if I saw it in the full, I would have remembered when I was young. I don't really remember Garbage Pail Kids, the movie, when it came out. It's about 1986, 1987. And
Just yesterday.
Just yesterday. This movie it's kind of painful. Now, so you got the Garbage Pail Kids, and you have a script that is really just collaged together. Magician type of uncle guy, this kid he's taking care of, and then the Garbage Pail Kids. So you get Alligator, which folks might remember Alligator, and you had a greaser one, and the if you can imagine the costumes and the heads in a super low budget. They kind of ran out of money, and it's just eerie because of the disproportionality of it, or seeing a head push in and then push out. And so there's this greaser predator one always carrying a switchblade. There's a GPK kid that just, the one that farts all the time.
Or not.
And so anyways, it's just this wild thing, but it is, the love interest, Dakota. This kid was supposed to be this kind of rising star, this cute little kid, young. I mean, I was 15, 16 years old. And his girlfriend in the movie is 6'1". She looks like she's in her late 20s, but she's just, younger. And the casting is he's looking up at her and Garbage Pail Kids.
It's a romance. It's a rom-com. Go watch it.
You'll know you've watched it at the end of it, for whatever that means. I'm glad I'm able to share that one with you.
I remember the cards for that, the Garbage Pail Kids cards. Those were so gross in a really fun way. They're always puking, doing violent stuff. They're fun. I'm gonna check this out.
You will, okay, Dakota, go drop into this movie and the GPK culture, and we'll talk on the third time.
I'll scare myself today. It'll be good.
It's great to get the recommendations from you. Hey, what how's LA? How's LA? I mean, it's folks probably ask you, how's LA doing right now? We're in July 2023.
Oh, it's hot.
Hot.
It's hot. Yeah. I'm still never used to the heat in LA, even though I've been here for 8 years now. I can't take it.
It's been a hot one lately. Have you been able to go to a gallery I've only observed from afar online, La Luz de Jesus? Have you seen that gallery?
Oh yeah, I've been to Luz de Jesus. It's super great though too. It operates out of, there's a front end, is crazy collectible store of it too. It's a really great way if you're ever in LA to check it out. I was also randomly early when I was in LA, I was in a group jury show there. So it's I love that space.
I'm fascinated by so many artists that I follow end up going there. They got an exhibit now, everything but the kitchen sink. And there's 2 or 3 guests, just a piece or two that they have in there. And it's just really great. Really,
they're not
really
paying us to promote this either. It is you should check it out, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sissy Framson is a guest I'm going to have on the show pretty soon. You'll love her stuff, Dakota. Check out her stuff. She's in a Swedish princess punk band called Volcano, and she does these gorgeous stop motion. There'll be mermaids, little stories. This is the part you'll like. They put out all their videos on an album. For the album, they put it out on VHS. All the stop motion videos are on
VHS.
So you put in your VHS tape and watch your Volcano videos. And for that, I was sold and run over. Just run me over now. Yeah, so
again.
Well, we just needed to compare notes. Yeah, Sissy Framson, the band Volcano. Listen to that episode when it comes on. It, you'll dig her art. Tons of color.
I'm gonna check out the music too. I'm okay.
Princess punk. Hey, look, I can't explain it to you. Maybe I'll listen to some more, but I would say they call it princess punk, and it looks like Princess Punk. And I think maybe only because there was this gummy bear that was about 15 pounds that they were holding. And I'm like, well, this must be Princess Punk.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Dakota, tell folks both in person and online where to find your stuff. We've been talking about where you show up, or even, so folks can like find your stuff in person, or they can enroll in your class or whatever.
Oh yeah. I guess, yeah, you can follow me on social media at Dakota Noot. I mean, I'm the only Dakota Noot as far as I know in the entire world. So you'll find me some way. Also, if you're ever in like Orange County, LA too, it's like you could always enroll in my classes, or even if they're an online class too, that'd be great. You don't have to live there. Just keep your eye posted.
That's wonderful. As far as any additional like publications, I'm sorry, I was stumbling there. Any additional publications? You had some small publishing pieces, cutout dolls. Oh my gosh, everybody! Dakota cutout doll in the first something rather than zine, but you have your own book of the gosh darn things nowadays.
Yeah, you can also find, I have the link, I think also my bio, or especially too on my website. It's through Avant Pop. You can make a paper doll coloring book. So like I put it out. You can cut out 2 alien figures I made, then make these outfits for them that you color yourself. You should check it out. It's really fun. It also is kid friendly. It's designed for all ages.
Yeah, just check the tag with Dakota. No problem. Just check the tag.
It's all good.
No, that's really super. Hey, everybody, check out Dakota Noot's art and really a lot of like I was, it's funny to laugh about this. So great film recommendations, wild color, laughing, really enjoying film, and there's so many films we don't see because we have some weird opinion about them. So
yeah, I'm on Letterboxd too. You could follow me there. I figured that out.
Dang. Find Dakota everywhere. Hey, thanks for popping on, everybody. Dakota Noot was first on episode 92. We're up over towards 220 episodes, and it's a great pleasure. I'm glad I was able to check in with you. I kind of see you every day on Instagrams, but it's really nice to chat with you. And before I let you go, though, how many hours did you spend within KFC using that as your art office during the pandemic?
They'll never know. I still live next door to
it. We have to have, I'm telling you, if I can get somebody send me the freelance, I'll head down.
A business lunch. Yeah.
We'll get the photographer. We'll get the how to build your studio off KFC, or use it as an auxiliary, but we don't want to ruin anything for you. Thank you for making art through the pandemic and into the future, Dakota. Man, it's a great pleasure to chat with you and have a laugh with you.
Thank you for having me on, and I hope you're having a great day. And also, congrats on getting over 200 episodes. Like, wow.
Yeah, well, heck. There's an elite 3-timer club, and you're at 2. So let's get you there soon.
I'm down.
Love you, Dakota. Take care.
Bye.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing.